Hello and welcome to the TryLine podcast. This is our post-Origin review. Queensland 2-0, lost the series. Terrible, terrible, terrible last night. What do you think?
Loved it. I loved every second of it.
I bet you
It was
did.
good.
Mate, I'm not going to air the rubbish you were messaging me, but Jesus.
What was I messaging you?
I mean,
Air
I
it.
think there was a penalty, and you're like, "That's a silly penalty." When you know it's not a silly penalty, you can't help yourself.
No,
And then
well, I
you,
think
you
it
text me,
was.
you text me ridiculous things. No, you don't. You don't though. You know it's not.
It was good. No, it was good.
No.
It
Anyway,
was, it was fair. It was fair. It was a shit call.
you're all of them.
Yeah, all of them
Oh
against New
yeah,
South Wales.
yeah. I thought Jared Sutton was good again. I think he's good
Yeah.
at Origin level. I really like him. I thought both the Origin games were refereed pretty well. The head highs, the crackdown, and all that just goes out the window when it comes to Origin time. And the NRL can't defend it anymore. They
Yeah,
just don't
mate.
call it head high.
I think I saw about 20 head highs there,
That would
and nothing was
20 that
called.
would be called in
Yeah,
in the NRL.
yeah.
They just don't even call them. Anyway, New
Plus,
South Wales
plus
were
those.
outstanding.
Oh yeah, no,
They were
no, no, yeah.
outstanding. 26-0. Before we get into any of that, we're going to name our Australian squad today. So hang around for that. We're also going to talk all about the Ronaldo Mulitalo situation. That was just what a crazy 24 hours. Reece Walsh was ruled out on the Saturday. Come Sunday morning, Ronaldo Mulitalo was ruled out as well. What do you make of that whole thing? Reece Walsh going down for me was really, really upsetting. I was really excited to see him play.
Yeah, I mean, me too. We've spoken about him almost every week now that he's been playing at club level and talking about how good he is, like how good he looks,
Yep.
um, the whole shebang. I think that it was a huge loss for Queensland. I mean, he's a gun player. You always want to see the best players running out for each side.
Yeah,
And
always.
yeah, and we didn't get that last week, obviously, with a few injuries.
I think
But yeah,
you've
I was,
made the
I,
point. I think you've made the point constantly that every time he's been on the field, Reece Walsh has been, if not the best, one of the best players on the field.
yeah,
Which I mean they could have used that last night, but mostly I feel like Queensland's attack was slow, disjointed,
mm,
not a lot of energy about it, and he brings a lot of energy, so he could
he
have
does.
made a difference in attack last night, but I don't think he would have affected the scoreline too much. As
Yeah,
for
no, I think
Ronaldo Mulitalo, what you want to make a point about Reece Walsh?
No, well, I was just going to agree with you. I was going to say, yeah. And I was going to say something else, but I think we might get into that a little bit later. It's not regarding Reece Walsh
Okay,
or
well
any of those guys.
we'll talk about Ronaldo Mulitalo. By the way, guys, we're going to be over Zoom for the next 2 weeks due to the New South Wales restrictions. This is where we're at. Then he cannot come to my house because he is not a family member. He would not sign that paperwork. I did try and force it on him a few times, but he wouldn't sign it. But that's on him. Anyway, Ronaldo Mulitalo talking about paperwork. That's a great segue
Oh,
into this one.
that's a really good
He
segue.
was ruled ineligible to play for Queensland. For the
Mm,
record, he's eligible for a passport and to become an Australian citizen, but cannot play for Queensland in the state of origin because they take their eligibility very, very seriously. Queensland and New South Wales. What do you think
but
of this?
if they did, like, wouldn't Greg Inglis play for New South Wales?
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, I think Luke Keary is eligible to play for New South Wales, but he's a Queensland fan and wanted to play for Queensland like as of just 3 years ago.
and I don't know.
He
Anyway, we'll
he
get
tried to
into
play for Queensland, I think. Anyway, doesn't
back when
matter.
they were winning, and then hopped on the New South Wales bandwagon.
Yeah, well, there's a
Anyway,
couple of people on TikTok that like to call me a bandwagon fan. I think all my teams that I support across every single platform are terrible. But anyway, on the bandwagon, go
you are a
Penrith.
bandwagon
Go
fan.
Penrith. That's what I've got to say. Go Penrith.
All
Anyway,
right.
what are
Yeah,
your
yeah.
thoughts on that?
With Mulitalo, I've seen you were saying it was a contract.
Yeah,
I've just seen like a little photo where it states whether he's eligible to play for Queensland or not. I think it's I think it's disgraceful someone didn't pick up on that. And then the NRL coming out and saying, if you want to play, you can play, but if you lose Queensland, if you win, sorry,
and
that
it's
win will
found
get
out that
taken
you're
away
not
from you.
eligible. It'll be taken off. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that was very
exactly.
good either.
I think that's a low move from the NRL, but someone must have had to have picked up on that before he was even brought up into Origin camp, selected to go into camp.
I'll tell you
Um,
what, Gal made a very good point on this. I felt like he said before the game, not only this game, but Ronaldo's been picked in the 16s, 18s, 20s. That means every single one of those games, he's been picked ahead of someone that is eligible to play for Queensland and maybe never got that opportunity to play for Queensland. And how many of those kids maybe never did? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Ronaldo obviously has a relationship there with Gal at Cronulla, and he was shadowed for him, as we all were. But I think QRL and the NRL both need to take some massive blame for this. The NRL for one should know what every player is eligible to play for right now. They should be going and sorting that out. Anyway, the photo of the eligibility rules were floating around. Just pretty much everyone was putting them up. And the first question is, were you born in New South Wales or Queensland? If that's no, you go on the right side of that photo. Then the next question is, have you resided in New South Wales or Queensland since prior to your 13th birthday? Now, this is pretty much the point of contention. Ronaldo Mulitalo couldn't prove on the day that he was. There was conflicting reports. There was contracts that he had signed and paperwork saying that he was here after he was 13. I think he had an interview with the Daily Telegraph that said he arrived when he was 13. So that's all pretty cut and dry there. I don't think he could have played. I do feel bad for him. Do the rules need to be looked at? I don't know. But I will say the QRL has done him so dirty here. I feel like they're to blame. They are to blame. They're the ones that kicked him. They got to do their due diligence there. But I don't know how it goes unknown for this long. And I think he lost the 16s, 18s, and 20s, so that the result didn't matter there. But still, you shouldn't. Imagine if it come out after the game. Imagine if he played, they won, and it come out and no one knew. It would be a nightmare for the NRL and Ronaldo.
Imagine. Because then it'd feel like, I think it would be especially bad for Ronaldo because, pretty much if they won and then that win gets taken away from them, that's all on him. And I mean, the Queensland, the QRL won't, they're going to be like, oh, well.
Well, he would get smashed. He would get absolutely smashed from the New South Wales fans there. Imagine if they won, he scored the winning try or something. It'd be a nightmare.
Oh,
be an absolute nightmare. Anyway, let's get into the game. 26-0. I thought the Maroons started all right.
They definitely did. They came out of the gates firing. That was the good first defensive set. They jammed Safidi, jammed Paulo, jammed Turbo. Tarek Sims had a good run in that set. He bent the line back a little bit. But I thought they started well and then they just faded.
I thought Jai Arrow off the kickoff was just you could see it before he even and I miss that off the kickoff. He just used to kick it down and try and jam, and it was good. It was good intent from Queensland, but that's only going to sustain you for so long. There needs to be a degree of skill accompanied with that, and it just wasn't there for Queensland. Their attack was dreadful. I messaged you about 13 minutes in, I think, and I said this period here for Queensland, Daly Cherry Evans' kicking game has been some of the worst I've seen.
Yeah, I do remember you saying that.
Terrible. And it got a little bit better as we went on, but not a lot better. I mean, even the kicks crossfield for Felt, none of them were on the button, really. I think they got one right, and Latrell got done for an escort. Just on the escorts, before we go forward with the escorts, there's about 7,000 escorts for Queensland on Tommy Tavorovic.
Oh yeah, everyone just stopping and changing their line, and then Latrell does the same thing, and they get called for a penalty. But all of the officiating apart from that was, it was all right.
I thought the what's the name, the New South Wales, it was way worse against them. I thought they were coming out of the trees to try and get Tommy. I thought that was pretty funny that Latrell got called for one and no one else did.
Well, I was actually going to tell you this last night. I was going to message you this last night, but I thought the that the refs towards the end of the game, I thought a lot of the calls were going in favour of Queensland. That's just my opinion. Apparently, I'm biased, but whatever.
No, it's not apparently. You're biased, but that's okay. It's okay. I thought Latrell Mitchell was outstanding, especially early in the game. It's a really, really scary prospect when Latrell is invested and interested in a result. because he's just so scary. It was that one-on-one rake. He took the intercept. Obviously, that's the one that we talked about. He forced Val back into the in goal. Like he was everywhere, dominant. I thought he probably should have got man of the match. James Tedesco was outstanding, but I thought Latrell was just as good.
Yeah, I thought the back five, so fullback, wingers, and centers for New South Wales were awesome. I think all of them were great. Queensland, on the other hand, Val, he had a decent game. I thought Kyle Felt was poor again.
Very ordinary.
Not Kyle. Corey Oates, Xavier Coates, not Corey Oates. Sorry,
Corey Oates.
Xavier
That's
Coates.
another one. When Xavier Coates was going to get ruled out for being from Papua New Guinea, then they're going to bring in Corey Oates.
Actually,
no.
Is that? Oh, no. Oh, I didn't see that. But yeah, Xavier Coates. I thought, he was all right. I mean, he was playing on the wrong wing, brought in on the day.
Yeah, he's probably not going to cop much flack from me. I think it was a pretty great effort for him to even play on 12 hours notice. Good on him. That's a huge game against it's a crazy New South Wales side that's been assembled, and I thought he went okay.
Yeah, I thought Capewell had another really good game. He's been probably the best outside back for the Queenslands in this series anyway.
I don't understand that the shitty cops, Capewell. I thought he was great again. I don't really know what you expect him to do. Like he's not a center. He's not going to burn people. He's not going to beat Tom Travojevic on the outside. He's there to do a job because we do not have centers. And I thought he'd done that job. But unless we go put a center in the side, he's going to have to be there because it's the only one that can do the job. I'd love to see him move closer to the ball, but I'll tell you what, in game 3, there's going to be mass changes, I think, personally. I think Daly Cherry Evans was terrible. I think he was really bad.
He's gone, you think?
Well, I said last night, maybe not game 3, but I mean, when do you do it? I don't think he's going to play too many more games for Queensland, personally.
Yeah. So who do you think takes his spot? Like, just throw a name out there, throw a couple of names out there.
I think Ben Hunt. I thought Ben Hunt was excellent off the bench again. Andrew McCulley done what he was going to do. He was going to make tackles. He didn't do a lot more than that, really. I thought Ben Hunt, when he got on the field, he tried to straighten up the attack. He brought a lot of energy. You could see he was a real leader, even at halftime. He was the one talking. Really, really good signs to see for Ben Hunt. Maybe you give him a crack at halfback. He's definitely a more attacking halfback than Daly Cherry Evans. Daly did not hardly challenge the line last night. I think he was, for his outside men, he was really, really bad because he wasn't taking the line on and playing a lot of catch and pass. You could see the New South Wales defense just sliding off him, and it just made it really easy for him. Where you see, especially Jerome Luai, if he's not giving early ball, he's bending into the line, and then he's making them make decisions. But that's on the back of obviously good forwards going forward and stuff. But I thought Daly was very, very bad last night.
Yeah, just going on Luai and New South Wales forwards, mate. How good were the forwards for New South Wales? I think we were talking about Crichton, came off the bench, and he played how many minutes? And
I've got it written here for Crichton, off the bench, 16 runs, 124 meters. I think he played less minute than every New South Wales forward and ran for more meters than every New South Wales forward.
Well, damn.
Yeah. So he was outstanding off the bench. I said it last week to you. You kind of scoffed at it, but I think Angus Crichton's the best back rower in the world. I think, especially edge back rower, 11 or 12. I think Angus Crichton's the best one going around at the moment. And I know David Feeder's there. I think David Feeder's very good. I just don't think when it's not going well for David Feeder, I don't think he's as good as when things are going well. Anyway, I think he's second, but
second
best. That's still in the world. I think that's still pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I've got an issue here with what Queensland did with their forwards. So all their forwards, obviously, only out of all their forwards, how many is there? What, 6, 7, 8 forwards? So there was one that played 80 minutes. And that's Felice Kafusi.
Yeah.
And I think that to have David Fifita only come on and play 50 minutes while you got Felice Kafusi playing 80, obviously you're searching for points. You're looking for points if you're Queensland. Who would you rather? Who do you think is a better attacking player out of Kafusi and David Fifita?
Oh, Dave Fafita, hands down. And I'm this kind of leads into my next point. I think it's
Mm.
a Paul Green problem more than I think it's a Queensland problem. I think
Oh, really?
Paul Green definitely offensively has shown in the past that he does get found out, and his attack is very stale. In 2019, which was his last full year as an NRL coach, um, the Cowboys averaged 15 points a game that year, and they were the third worst in attack over the whole season. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And they didn't really look like scoring, apart from that one over the top pass to Xavier Coates, where Tommy knocked the ball out, which was outstanding. And that really wasn't much of a set play. And then Capewell scored in game one, which was just a catch and pass, and he beat Tommy one on one. Other than that, they haven't really looked that dangerous, apart
Mm.
from their offloads, which
Yeah, yeah.
is not going to last
Like
long anyway.
I like what they did in this game, how they kicked to felt a lot more.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's great in the air. He towers over Brian Toto, and you could see that when they were kicking over there. I was like, oh no,
It was dangerous every time.
it was dangerous every single time,
Yeah.
and he nearly got over there a couple of times. Like one, he knocked it on, and then another one, Toto grabbed his arm, and he lost the ball over the line. He had it. So
So where was that in game one when Xavier Coates was on that wing? Seriously.
exa- exactly, Xavier Coates is they're probably a little bit better in the air. He's yeah, actually definitely a lot better in the air.
No,
But yeah,
I think their kicking game altogether was terrible. I think they were very scared of giving away a 7 tackle set, especially close to their
mm,
line. You've seen them run the ball a lot on last tackle, try and get him in the corners. But it wasn't happening for them because you get him in the corner, and then you got Latrell, Tom Travovic, Brian Tohol trying to get out of their own end. Well, they're already at the 50 before fourth tackle. You know what I mean? That's three of the best
yeah,
get outs right there.
yeah. Plus, yeah, mate, they were just awesome. Like Tommy Turbo, mate, he was everywhere again. Roman,
His ability to beat someone one on one is bullshit. To be honest,
mm,
I watched him last night, and every time even off a standing start, he'd find a way to beat the first defender, and it was just crazy. James Tedesco bounces off every single tackle, especially the first one. He just
yeah.
bounces around, and the repeat efforts just kills Queensland's middles, especially. Who do you think was good for Queensland last night?
Who do I think was good? I did like Josh Papali'i. I thought he was good. Off the bench, I like what Mo Fotuaika bring. Although he did have a look in what's 30 something minutes.
Yeah,
He only had 7 runs. So I think he needs to run the ball a lot more. He's a damaging ball runner, and he looks dangerous every time he ran the ball. I just don't understand why he wasn't running more.
I think he didn't miss a single tackle in the middle. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty solid considering their middle was absolutely torn to shreds. Good on
yeah,
him. I thought Ben Hunt for mine was outstanding. I thought Catewell was good. Jai Arrow I thought was pretty solid. The
yeah.
halves were really disappointing. I thought Cam Munster tried. Thought he really tried. He had a lot. Had a lot of runs. Tried to get his hands on the ball. There's not a lot doing around him. I
Mm.
thought Felice Kafusi was terrible. And
Oh,
what try was it?
it was Josh Addo-Carr's try, his first try. So I remember messaging you
Yeah.
saying that was Felice Kafisi's fault. So what happened was New South Wales, Queensland were pinning them down in their own half, right? And then Felice Kafusi tries to be a hero or whatever and start a scuffle or something like that, and decides to hold Angus Crichton on the ground for about 5 seconds, and then he gets up and he's like trying to go Angus Crichton, and then off of that, obviously they find a space on the edge, and
I don't know if that was the first try though, but
it wasn't
I
the,
remember it. I
it
remember it
wasn't the first. It wasn't the.
because Josh scored the first try.
Did he?
Yeah,
I'm sure it was the first
I
try.
remember that it led to a try, and them two were on the field in back play. They might have been around the 50, and I think
No,
he stayed on the. It wasn't the first try because the first try was on the back of Latrell's one on one, and they stripped him for numbers on the right. They scored. They're only 20 meters out or something.
so it must have been the third try.
Yeah, it was.
All
But I
right.
remember it. I remember it, and I remember you messaging me that. I got a lot of messages from you, but that's all right.
Oh
That's all
yeah.
right. You earned it last night. You earned it.
Did.
Um, Other than that, anything else on the game? thought Queensland were poor. I actually thought they were worse than game one, especially from about the 15th minute on. In game one, I didn't think Queensland were that bad. I thought New
Mm,
South Wales probably had the best. They were perfect, I thought, in game one.
yeah.
This one, I thought they had plenty of opportunities to be competitive in this game. And I think if they had taken a couple of opportunities, and we haven't really seen this Blues team under much pressure yet, especially scoreboard pressure. I think
Mm,
things could have happened there, but they just couldn't execute at all. I thought they were really, really, really bad.
well, I just think that the backs for New South Wales and the backs for Queensland, it's like two totally different games. The New South Wales backs making a lot of meters, a lot of tackle breaks is where, I mean, you got Coates and Felt both making 93 and 94 meters each.
Yeah,
Is where you got Toto, he made 230 just by himself. And Tedesco 234. I mean, yeah,
I think
that's after.
Reece Walsh in the next game is a must. I'd love to
Mm,
see Ponga get on the field. I think
yeah.
Grant coming back, he's very attack minded. And then for mine, Ben Hunt needs to still be in this team. He needs to be in the makeup. I thought he was great last night.
All right. So for that Queensland side, would you put Reece Walsh in the 14 jersey?
Yeah, well, then I don't know. Do you play him on the wing? Because I don't know if Felt gets another shot. I don't know if Felt gets
No,
another shot.
I don't think Felt will get another shot. I think it'll be Xavier Coates and Valentine Holmes on the wing, Ponga at fullback. So I don't see where Reece Walsh fits in there.
Was if Xavier Coates wasn't picked this time.
No, but I think he needs to be picked. Like he needs to be
Paul,
there.
Paul Green already sacked him. Paul Green didn't like what he saw in the first game, but somehow liked what he saw from Kyle Felt, which I thought Kyle Felt was very poor game one. He was very poor. And I think he was poor this week too. It's a shame because I really wanted to see him do well, but that level's just not for everyone. I don't think.
Yeah, no, Felt. I don't think he'll get another opportunity to play Origin.
Opportunity. Anyway, we talked about
Opportunity.
this. We've talked about this before. The Australian squad, um, on the back of last night's game, obviously it's going to be dominated by New South Wales. I think, just for reference, there were some people we left out because we think they will elect to play for another nation, i.e., Jerome Luai, Brian Toho. We think they'll both play for Samoa, and we left out a forward. Which forward did we leave
Junior
out?
Paulo.
Junior Paulo. So
Junior Paulo, because we think that he is more of a chance than some of these other players that we've picked.
yeah, so Junior Paulo, and Brian Toho would definitely be in this squad. Maybe even Jerome Luai off the bench. So just get that out of the way. This is the Australian squad. If it was picked tomorrow, in our opinion, Danny, take it away, man.
Alrighty, so at fullback we've got James Tedesco, obviously. The wingers we've got the Fox and Val Holmes. Obviously, with Toto, we think he's going to be playing for, pardon me, Samoa. So
Yep.
we've left him out. Turbo and Latrell Mitchell are the centers, with Cam Munster and Nathan Cleary gets the 7 over Cherry Evans.
I think it's time. Pass the torch,
Yeah.
Nathan Cleary, to be the 7 for the next 5, 6, 7 years, something like that.
10.
10 maybe. For
He's,
sure.
he's only he's what is he, 23?
He's the best halfback in the world, and I've said it before. I don't think it's that close.
Yeah, no way. Anyway, into the forwards, we got Daniel Saifidi and Josh Papali'i starting at the front row with Damien Cook at hooker, Angus Crichton and David Feeder, 1 and 2 best back rowers in the world, do you reckon?
According to me.
according to Bo. And we've picked Isaiah Yeo at lock.
Yeah.
The bench is Cam Murray in the 14, Payne Haas, Christian Welsh, and Tarek Sims. And we were talking if New South Wales, if Australia decide to go with a utility, we think that Jack Whiten will get that 14 spot and Tarek Sims drops out.
I think that's 11. Is that 11 New South Wales players? I think it is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12. There we go. 12 New South Wales players. Obviously, we don't know what players are going to do. Daniel Saifidi, Josh Papali'i, they're both eligible to play for different nations as well. So they might go and play for them. But I think this is a great Australian lineup. The forward rotation is what it is. I think Christian Welsh probably could have started. I think he was solid again last night. Missed a lot of tackles, but his run meters stand alone there.
Yeah.
Jack
Well,
White.
it was a coin toss out of Christian Welsh and Saifidi, I think, for the starting spot.
Yeah.
Either or, like it doesn't really matter.
Do you see any team beating this team in the World Cup? If the World Cup goes ahead, they still haven't decided that because of COVID restrictions and whatnot. I think they're making a call on that in the next couple of weeks too. But if it does go ahead and they pick this side, can any side beat this side?
I don't think so. No. Well, you got the best fullback. Well, yeah, but best two fullbacks in there, best halfback, probably the best hooker.
Yeah.
I mean, the best two back row. Yeah, no one's beating that
The
team.
forward pack stands alone, I think. Daniel Safidi,
Yeah.
Josh Papali'i, Angus Crichton, David Fifita, Isaiah Yeo, Cam Murray, Payne Haas, Christian Welsh. That's a forward pack.
Yeah. No one's getting over them.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Let us know. Obviously, there'll be someone we missed, and you will let us know in the chat who we missed, because I get that every time. It'll be, how did you leave him out? My God. And it'll all be in caps, which is always great. But let us know who you'd pick in the Australian squad. I really hope we do see a World Cup. To be honest, I think it's leaning towards not happening. I think it's about a 30% chance. They're probably not going to take the risk on that one. But I do hope we see a World Cup. I think this World Cup has the most potential to be closer than anyone we've ever had. I think if every squad can pick their best squads, Samoa can have a really good team. Tonga, New Zealand, they're always strong. Even England, in the Super League, I think Jackson Hastings has elected to play for them. So him and George Williams could be the halves there, which George Williams on his day is very good. Hasn't had too many of those days this year, though.
Oh,
poor Georgie.
wow.
He hasn't played well this year. Let's be honest.
He hasn't played poorly.
Well, he hasn't played at all, really. He's gone back to the UK. So good for him. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, anything more to say on your New South Wales Blues?
Yeah, suck it. End it.
You know what I got to say? That We All Bleed Blue song possibly is the worst piece of music in the history of the world.
Oh, get over it.
Isn't it terrible?
We have to. What's that? What's the Queensland one? The Yippee Yippee Ya song? Heard that before, mate?
That's just our team song, mate.
That is literally.
It's better than We All Bleed Blue.
That's not even music. Bad. That's not music. That's just.
That's a tune, mate. That charted.
No,
it charted in my house.
What, top 10 shittest songs ever made.